Going to feature Your Awful Suburba, GTR V-Spec, Easy E47, and Abdul. And on the other side, we got Comet G, Breezy W, Kalen, Age, and Native. Excuse me. And we go into the knife round. Everyone getting going. And as I mentioned, sometimes the team's a little bit different. Looks like Steez will not be playing today, but we do have Abdul, who I've also highlighted as a player who's been strong. In fact, I think he's played in the last 4 games in a row for Team with Motion, so it doesn't surprise me to see him here in the 5th. And you look on the other side, Breezy W, Comet G, Kalen, all 3 players that I mentioned are here. And I think Native might be the only one that hasn't really played that much on the roster, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I know Age has played quite a few matches already. Alrighty, off we go. Team with Motion, 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. Mirage is the map. Both teams have played it 3 times. 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 is trying to get themselves to a winning record, or at least an even 500 on Mirage, and Team with Motion is trying to keep their record in a very positive light, going from 2-1 to 3-1 if they get a win here. Age tosses the nade in. That's going to do a decent amount of damage, but he's alone and is going to get run. No, he doesn't get run. How is he alive? No way. Age is still alive. Finally, he gets taken down by GTR V-Spec 69. All right. I don't know how he lived that long as the bomb gets planted here. Abdul, good headshot onto Comet. And it looks like Abdul's just going to run around getting frags here. He gets a couple for himself before finally falling, but it's all up to Kalen here in a 1v3. Kalen tapping heads, still alive. Sees all these bullets just whizzing right past his head. He moves on. Does he have the kit? He doesn't, but there might be one on the ground. Kalen. Oh, can't get past. Easy E47. And it will be a 1-0 lead here in favor of Team with Motion. That's an interesting take that they had. I mean, I felt like it could have been a little bit cleaner, right? Age survived longer than he probably should have and got a frag there, but eventually you see Abdul kind of take over, take the reins in the round, and deal the killing blows that mattered. We move on. Round number 2. He's going to sail in here towards connector. Abdul running up, getting towards that bench and likely into window. He's already there as we switch gears to check out what's happening at the B site. Age sees the bodies but can't do anything about it at all. The rifle's just overpowering him. This is a full-on eco here coming through from 2KAZOO2KREW. Flashbang thrown, and good job by Team with Motion. I mean, they figured out that the stack was towards that B site, and they said, okay, let's send it back to A and get this bomb planted down. Suburba, ooh, has to be careful there. It's dinged from the USP. Abdul's waiting to get that rotation taken out, and he does. There's Native gone. It looks like, okay, well, Suburba dropped here, so that's a rifle on the ground. I don't know if it's going to matter. Your Awful's right there, and he's been the player that's really shined here over the last little bit for this roster, and he gets himself a frag, the first frag of the map here. 2-0 in favor of Team with Motion. Pretty straightforward anti-ego. Yes, there was one casualty, but not too big of a deal because they didn't lose the rifle. And it's not going to be carried over here by 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. A1S's across the board for the Kazoos, the Kazoo crew. Age, just going to spam away here. Not sure if I want to listen to a Kazoo crew. I don't have anything against the Kazoo. That might be overrating on the ears for me. Breezy going to get the first here. Maybe I do have something against the Kazoo. How did I say that? Anyway, Kalen going to get one, and Comet is going to get the follow-up. Nothing doing at all here for Team with Motion on their bonus round. Age, last one Suburba, last one standing up against Age, and he will actually fall to Comet, who comes around that right corner. That'll do it. Pretty clean win here for the Kazoo crew, as they will win their first buy-up. Very nice for them. Again, like looking at the stats, I would say this likely leans towards 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. just because of how good Breezy and Comet have been so far this season, and Kalen as well. Like, these guys have really been insane, I would say, at the open level. We'll see if that continues here into this match. Kalen's already pushed out right outside of connector. The smoke pop is good, and there's the headshot onto Kalen. Trying to get the trade is Age, but he can't do it, and Breezy W drops as well. Look at the damage done to Suburba and GTR V-Spec. I mean, these guys are just on borrowed time. Native catches Suburba rotating around. That's a very aggressive position for him. Upgrades to an AK. Maybe a chance here for 2KAZOO2KREW to come back, but now with that frag by Abdul onto Comet G, Native's gonna have to do work. There's one. They don't have to chase him. They don't have to do this. They continue to do it. Native, is he gonna win that battle? Because A just won an important one, finally gets dropped, but Native has to deal with this player. Of course, just realizing the bomb is down, so they had to come back. No choice. Left it behind towards spawn, and they will still get the frag as You're Awful finishes off Native. 3-1 in favor of TEAMWITHMOTION. So 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2, after getting that opening round, or excuse me, getting that first round victory for themselves, cannot convert a second in a row. Money should be pretty good because they won that one pretty cleanly a couple of rounds ago. And yeah, there you go. They're going to have 3 M4s. Problem is they still haven't been able to buy up an op. So that's going to hurt Age's chances of getting those sniper frags. But he does have the scout in his hands. And Native with the MP9. So we'll see if they can make that one work. But TEAMWITHMOTION trying to stay in motion. Be active here on this T side. Comet G. Gets that smoke toss towards a ramp. Now peeking around that corner. Probably going to get visibility on a player or two here in just a moment. Abdul coming around that corner. There he goes. Abdul can't get the shots off. Comet wins the battle, but the good trade from Easy comes through. I think he was towards Cat. That evens up the numbers at a 4v4, and Suburba might have the edge here on the player underneath Palace. That's Kalen. Kalen not aware of Suburba's position, I don't think, because Suburba's walked all the way here. But if he makes noise now, that'll be problematic for him, especially if he doesn't clear underneath balcony. Native supporting 3 players here now for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. Kalen spamming away, doesn't get anything done. That will make things more problematic. Good util usage here from TEAMWITHMOTION as well. The Molotov for under valve, and one thrown towards CT. Really isolates all the fights. Native going to have to do some work here. There's an M4 in front of him. Probably tempted to pick that one up, but I don't even know if he's going to get the chance. He won't. GTR V-Spec manages to get that frag, and now it's down to Breezy and Age. I think Breezy just has to save. Yeah, he needs to get out of here. That would be the best call to make to keep this gun alive, but he's feeling heroic. Wants to try for this one. Only gets the singular frag on Suburba. An easy 47 will take care of the last one. 4-1 for TEAMWITHMOTION. And now without that M4 saved over, 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 likely just going to be on to an eco. Maybe some pistol upgrades. Probably can afford that. Maybe a kit. Some util. Well, it will be a flashbang in terms of the util. Breezy has bought up the armor in case they get an AK. Here they come aggressively through underpass. Abdul has a fight in his hands. Has to clear this effectively, and he does. Comet G down. 5v4 in favor of TEAMWITHMOTION. And this should be a relatively straightforward round for them. That said, there are players coming up on the flank, or one player coming up on the flank. That's Kalen. And the other 3 working around mid and window. Oh, Abdul's in such a good spot. Yeah. Probably going to mop up some frags here for Abdul. GTR V-Spec takes care of another. And yep, there's Abdul with the 3-piece on the round. Native last one standing. Not much you can do. I mean, maybe try to get a couple of frags. And he gets none. Abdul taking care of business. A 4K for him on the round. He's up to 10-3. And I told you guys, like, he was impressing, honestly, over the last 4 games played. He was one of the top player in the top two in all of those matches pretty much. And as mentioned, those stats were crazy. I mean, 100.2 ADR over the last 4, and he's already on pace to continue being 100 plus ADR. Assuming that these numbers keep up throughout the entirety of the map. Is that 143 right now? Something like that? Anyway, Age spamming away here. Oh, only 1 for Kalen. That would have been more effective. They get 2, and oh my goodness, an op shot goes wide. Luckily for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2, Breezy W is going to get that frag onto Suburba. That makes it a 4v3. They still got Abdul to deal with. Along with You're Awful, who hasn't necessarily done as much this time because of how many frags Abdul is getting, but he's absolutely a threat. Native. Well, they get a good angle here on the platform. But if he gets baited to trying to rotate here off that smoke, that could be a problem because You're Awful's watching for it. But now it looks like You're Awful has given up on the lurk. He wants to go join his teammates for what will be an A hit. 52 seconds left. Do they have the util? I mean, they have a couple of flashes, 2 mollies, and a nade. Not having the smoke is a bit of a problem because they've already deployed one, but they're not executing off of it, which means that they're going to have to come out here and engage with what will be completely blinded angles, right? Age going to get the opener there, and that's the result. Easy E47. Gone. Deleted. Comma G takes care of You're Awful. And it's all to Abdul. Gonna need an ace in the round to do this. There's 1. Wow, I thought that shot was gonna connect on him. Can't get the second though. Breezy W puts him down to dirt with a nice headshot, and it will finally be a second round victory for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. Team with Motion still have the momentum, I would say, but that one was a relatively clean victory for the Kazoo crew. So they're gonna need to come right back here and isolate that round victory if they want to keep control of this map. Otherwise, things could quickly shift in the other direction. Smoke there for window. Age, yeah, fires a shot off, but that was in the blind, so not going to happen. There's a nade that sails in, does a little bit of chip damage up against Breezy W. Breezy with the boost, and yes, does get the shot onto GTRV Spec. That's the 5v4 for the Kazoo crew. Age, yep, sees Abdul coming through before the smoke looms. Timing not great there for Team with Motion. An easy 47 wins that duel? Wow, okay. Oh, excuse me. Suburba was the one who went down. That happened so quickly I didn't realize. Age is going to get that frag onto easy 47. So that leaves You're Awful. Oh, goodness. No chance at all with his barrel showing around that corner. Native going to get the final frag. And it will be a third round picked up for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. That one was even more convincing than the previous one. So Team with Motion now having to go onto an eco for, I believe, the first time. Yeah, it's the first time in this map so far they've had to do this. And it will only be a couple of Tech 9s, a Deagle, and a nade bought up. I think, yeah, 4 players have body armor, and there's another Deagle that's purchased up a little late, and then armor that's sold. So kind of going back and forth in their decision making here in order to balance their economy out for a buy-up in the next one. But since Age has gotten that op in his hands, things have really turned around for the Kazoo crew. Incendiary flies through here. You're Awful, staring down at it. Native. There's that flashbang in. Info hopping. Is he going to see him? He does. Okay. Information is there, so they're probably going to get some more util tossed up in that direction. Kalen only gets 1, traded out immediately by some sharpshooting from GTRV Spec on the P250. Incendiary toss to try and keep them at bay, but Team with Motion, chance to make some noise here. Uh-oh, Age, no, not like this. Age walks in towards connector, and the Tech 9 was right there for the insta-frag. 4v3 in favor of Team with Motion, and now they've got the op, they've got the M4, You're awful popping around the corner trying to engage with Native. Did connect with a shot, but only gets Native down to 67. I think that's still effective, though, because it keeps attention in towards this B site and leaves Comet isolated over at CT spawn. And in the end, you know, final destination here for Team with Motion is A site. They don't have any smokes left, so they have to be careful around connector. They're watching it. Nicely done from Suburba with that picked up op. And all of a sudden, the KAZOO crew on a round that should have been a sure thing feels like it might be slipping through their fingertips. That will help with Comet finding easy. But Native and Comet have to get 3 more and a defusal to make this work, and now it's all up to Native. Smoke gonna get tossed. Native gets 1, but Suburba, a sharpshooter here with the AWP, gets himself a 4-piece, and they are right back on the board with 6 overall from Team with Motion. Checking out that scoreboard, Abdul 12 and 6 now with 1100 damage done. I mean, he is absolutely still keeping his ADR numbers up. And on the other side, it is Kalen at the top with 7 frags. Behind him are Age and Breezy W. But, you know, they need more, obviously, from the KAZOO crew. Not the usual performances from their top guns. And on the other side, I mean, it's the opposite story, right? Team with Motion, they've got Abdul, who's been great over the last 4, continues to be here. Native and Breezy holding down the fort, though, finally here at this B site. There we go. Abdul still managed to get 1 on the tail end, but it will be up to Suburba with the AWP in a 1v2 somehow. So many frags, a flurry of frags happening here. Suburba's kind of stuck. I mean, yes, Native is low, but Suburba at 46 HP with the AWP. They just have to isolate him. They just have to double peek him or ensure that they've got a crossfire setup here. Oh, this angle's so good for Breezy. He's going to walk around and have a freebie. There it is. No! Breezy doesn't get the frag! That was free! 11 HP now for Suburba, and Suburba clutches it out up against Native. No! Again, 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. Let that one slip away. That was a sure thing on the MP9 peak up against the Opera. You have the advantage. You know he's there. You just have to hit the shots, and one went astray, and that was the difference maker. Then Suburba comes back and clutches it out with the Op for a second straight round. So, Team with Motion, gonna get up to 7. This one could be a lot closer, though, honestly. 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 going to be looking back at this first half, thinking what could have been. Suburba with the op has been just absolutely lights out incredible. Easy. E47 moving through. Yeah, they're just going to take care of business here up against these pistols. Not struggling at all. Our Team with Motion here on Mirage. Native is going to get 1. Nice shot, but that's only 1. Nothing more he can do, and now you see Kalen trying to slip through into Palace here. He doesn't have the kit, but he's hoping that he can just disrupt a little bit, or enough to maybe get some frags, which would assist, obviously, with the economy not really stabilized there for Team with Motion. And maybe slip through and try to get a 10-second defusal. It's not going to be easy, and no. It will be easy. Who gets the frag? Over on Kalen. 8-3 in favor of Team with Motion. Oh. Lost the server there for a moment, guys, so we'll get back into it in just a little bit. But yeah, just looking again at the map stats. We talked about it before. Team with Motion, 2-1 on Mirage. You know, they have that winning record versus 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2, 1-2, despite the fact that if you look at the stats, if you look at the numbers, it feels like, at least on paper, 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2, they've got the better team in terms of raw firepower. But that's not always what gets you the wins, right? It's sometimes the strategies and the overall cohesion and chemistry between your squad that can make a difference. You don't always need to have those 2 players at the top shining above the rest. Anyway, we're back into it here. 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 trying to at least salvage 1 round here. It is a 3v2, but we've seen a couple of man advantages slip through their fingers throughout this first half of action. Toss. That wasn't great. Team with Motion flashing their teammate there. The timing was off, and Age will get a freebie as a result. You're awful. Last one standing. 45 seconds left. Does have the bomb on his back, but the odds indicate that this is a very unlikely chance of victory for him. Going towards the A site, which is probably the worst choice of the two sites at this point, with everyone being in the vicinity. Although Breezy did rotate. 19 seconds left. There's just no time. I mean, there's just no time for him to deal with these players and also get the bomb plant. Spamming away towards stairs. Yeah, probably done. There it is. Age going to get the last one. So at least a 4th round comes through there. But you see between that 12th round and I'd say the 9th or 8th round, there were opportunities there for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 to make it a much closer affair. So let's see if they can recover once they switch over to their T side, which will happen right here. Last pistol round, it went towards TEAMWITHMOTION. See if 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 can change that in the second half. All right, 3 players being sent towards this B site by TEAMWITHMOTION. Flashbang going to get tossed here. This is actually really good by 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 because they kind of convinced TEAMWITHMOTION to stay on that B site, which leaves only 2 players towards A. You're awful spamming through the smoke. And Abdul actually gets the opener onto Native. And the follow-up, Abdul just hitting all the shots here. He was great on that first pistol round. He had 2 previously. Now he's already matched that. Trying to keep his team in with only 5 HP remaining. Comet gonna get 1, maybe the second, no. Suburba with the dualies at least gets 1 before he falls to keep the numbers even, but Abdul is so very low that he has very little chance of coming out with the frag here. Yeah, there he goes. Kalen taking care of him. Paper Cut would have taken him down there, and then Kalen the last, a 4K for him. He has awakened here in this second half pistol round to help 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 from falling too far behind. There is a 5th for them, and Kalen already jumping right to the AK. The only player that can afford it right now because of that 4K. Or at least afford it and get all the util. The rest of his teammates, SMGs, 3 MAC-10s and an MP7, which is not a bad idea, given the fact that they're going up against just pistols. The Molotovs, the flashbangs, the smokes, they are just going for an all-out execute here towards the B site. Still no frags, and Uralful gets the first one. Native does take care of GTR V-Spec, and then Kalen and Age will drop another 2 frags. 4v2 in favor of the Kazoo crew. And this one's going to go their way. So they do not make a mistake this time up against the pistols. Suburba gets sprayed down by Kalen, and that will do it. So 6th round found, but that was just a save round. An eco for TEAMWITHMOTION. Now the guns will come out. This is where things will probably be decided, I would imagine. If 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 can come through here and shut down TEAMWITHMOTION, then we have a game on our hands. If not, TEAMWITHMOTION could start to run away with this one, similar to the way they did in that first half. I say that there is still money for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 regardless of the outcome in this round, but a win yields you a lot more than a loss, which would be, I think, only 1,400 at this point. So they would still have a buy-up, but it wouldn't be as convincing. All right, let's see here. Easy E47, waiting in sandwich. He's got the A1S locked and loaded. Great flashbang thrown, but they line up for him despite him being flashed. 2 for Easy. Kalen and Comet G are the last 2 here, and not for long, probably. Kalen watches Comet G fall. Abdul, throughout that chaos, did drop, but, I mean, he got a frag before that happened, so that's pretty solid on his side. He continues to have a great performance here on this map. Kalen, just gets caught out. I mean, there's only so many places you can go, and Suburba is watching there. 2K for him. 9th round for TEAMWITHMOTION. And we'll see if that's the killing blow for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. As mentioned, there will be enough money to justify a buy-up for them. It just won't be as potent as they would like. 2 AKs, a Galil, and Age settling for a Deagle native. Is he going to buy a Deagle as well? Yeah, so just the couple of pistols are the weak points. Not to say that these rifles won't be enough to give them a chance at a round victory. It's just that Team with Motion in these gun rounds have looked like the better squad. Kalen walking out here. There's the first for Kalen. Your Awful gets the trade on back, but I mean, 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 are just fantastic here at taking this B site, and they are going to eliminate everything in their way. Suburba and Easy E47, last two standing. They might want to save. Yeah, they're going to call for the save. That's the right decision to make. Sometimes, especially at the open level, you really want to be the hero. You really want to just go out there and say, I don't care, 1v4, 1v5, let's go. I'm going to get the ace. I'm going to have the highlight reel of the night. Highlight reel play of the night. But it's better to say the non-fancy play is often the good one in these types of situations, excuse me. And Suburba is going to get one here, watching his teammate fall. Needs to fall back. Yeah, I was going to say, you know, it's the effort that counts there. Trying to go for the save. Lost the body and we're a little too close to the bomb, unfortunately. So that means that Suburba falls and no guns saved over, as they're going to try and scrape together a bye. 9-7 in favor of Team with Motion. Feels like that B site has been going so well for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 here in the early goings of this half that I believe that they're going to try and continue to abuse that until it doesn't work. Because when they went to the A site was when they just got demolished. So they figured, well, B has worked for us in the pistol round, it worked for us in the previous one, let's go back to that direction. That's exactly what's going to happen. They walk in, no one's home, Age on the other side gets one before he's traded, so that's an AK upgrade for Team with Motion. But at this point, without any positioning at all towards this B site, I don't know. I don't know if it even makes sense to try for this. Sure, it's a 4v4. Maybe just have a look. Just that so much time is going to burn off the clock before you even manage to see a single player. Probably half of the bomb timer will be gone by the time Team with Motion get out here. Yeah, Kalen's going to take care of your Awful. Nice trade, though, at the very least by Suburba. They need to move quickly. And it looks like they're trying to get out. Kalen's doing work here. Three-piece coming through. Abdul manages to get a couple for himself. Down to a 1v1 somehow here, but there's no time to defuse anyway. Just the frags that will come through. So Team with Motion at least making an expensive round for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2, but they also lose all their bodies on their side. So, despite the fact that the Kazoo crew is going to have to reinvest here in this round, Team with Motion are like this fan. Trying to stay in motion despite some dire consequences. That fan, that view always gets me a little bit dizzy. Not gonna lie. Two MP9s, 3 pistols, and already one body gone. Suburba does manage to get a trade onto Comet G, and they're not clearing under balcony here. Abdul gets 2, still alive. Finally, Breezy W takes care of that, but now it's down to a 2v2 because of the efforts of Abdul there under Balk. Easy 47, there are guns down, but they're out of his reach, and now he's going to move away from that position. Oh, beautiful flank from Age. That will take the rifle out of play, leaving up to Easy 47. 1v2 clutch required, and this time, no mistakes made by the Kazoo crew. They tie things up at 9-9. They're looking far more effective on their T side than they were CT side. And now, well, they've got the 1S's and the big green gun in Abdul's hands. Checking out that scoreboard, guys. 21 frags for Abdul, and Suburba right behind him with 20. These two guys are incredible here right now in Mirage. Suburba actually playing, punching above his pay grade, I would say, or at least punching above his usual stats. Now Abdul and Suburba gonna take care of 2 immediately. You see on the other side for the Kazoo crew, it's pretty much just Kalen at the top, and then Age 5 frags behind at 15. 3v3 after all that initial action takes place, and the B site has been taken by the KAZOO crew. Bomb planted. You're awful. Not performing at his usual level here. He's probably hoping he can contribute a little bit more to his squad. And back in the lead. Oh, Abdul walks out. No one is watching Apartments. Age is now in a 1v2. Bomb's gonna get defused. The Molotov, is it good? I don't think so. Yes, it is. But there's still time. No, there is not. No smoke available for Abdul. The Molotov right on the money for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. They get their 10th round on the board, and they are in the lead. After TEAMWITHMOTION pretty much dominated from the beginning of this match, had the lead for the entire time, the KAZOO crew has struck back, and now they're trying to carry that torch across the finish line to victory. 3 A1Ss, the FAMAS, and the AWP. TEAMWITHMOTION's side, and it doesn't even matter. Challenge is too good right now. He's opened up all the space for his squad. Age managed to take out GTR V-Spec, even though GTR V-Spec fired first. Abdul with the op frag, keeping his team in it, but it's still a man advantage for the KAZOO crew, and they're going to the B site. They have created all this noise towards A. There was just 2 players walking in. The other 3 were going B pretty much the entire time. Man, the amount of bomb plants at the B site here. Oh, and a missed off shot. That's not going to help things. Luckily for Abdul, he's still alive. Probably should have been punished for that. Native misses the shots, but finally does connect onto Abdul. Easy 47 the trade. 2v2. Absolutely required here for TEAMWITHMOTION. Comet G now in a 1v1 up against Easy 47, and Comet G gets the clutch 1v2. Finds the 11th round for his squad. TEAMWITHMOTION looked like they were going to pull that one back and get in their favor and find a 10th on the board to tie it up once more, but no, they're the ones getting shut down in these man advantage situations now. Comet G, what a clutch. He's a player that's usually coming out with strong performances, and I mean, despite the fact that he's not necessarily in that top 2 right now, that is a big play for him to get. Suburba. Smoking to get tossed here. Kalen walks right out. He's been getting so many entries here. Doesn't manage to get anything on the opening look here, and does actually go down to Abdul, who finds himself a 2K. Breezy W gets 1. They're trying to go back in towards this B site. It might still work, but Easy 47, yeah, no, he's the last one standing now as his teammate goes down. I was going to say that. A crossfire and Age with the shot from the AK in midair will get the space he needs to at least find a bomb plant. Another 1v2 for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. This might be too tall of an ask. Oh my goodness, Age, what a tap to the head of GTR V-Spec. Now he's made it a 1v1 against the top player in the server. Abdul at 28 and 15, and Age at 21, trying to get an important 22nd, and he will find it. A 4K for Age, 12th round in the books, and another man advantage erased by 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2. They are on to map point here to try and improve their record to 5-2, and also, not to mention, get their Mirage to a 2-2 500 versus being under 500 at 1-2. What a recovery for them on their T side. We cannot forget that TEAMWITHMOTION had an 8-4 lead going into the second half, and they've only gotten 1 round since that point. Unbelievable. An 8-1 run here for 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2, and they might end it at a 9-1 run to get the win with that opening frag found in the buy-up's not great for TEAMWITHMOTION. 2 MP9s, a UMP 45, and an A1S remains on their side. Native takes a little bit of damage from that incendiary. Not too worse for wear. You see a lot of pressure is going to be put on GTR V-Spec and Suburba. They realize that. They try to release that pressure valve a little bit with the incendiary, but it just doesn't work. Breezy W around the corner gets the headshot. Now there's only one player left here at default. They don't really clear it very well. The spray's good for only one as Breezy finds the instant trade. This one might be in the books. Unless You're Awful and Easy47 can get something done, but You're Awful's already gone. As I was saying that, Easy E47 trying to walk through the smoke, excuse me. Might get past it. Breezy? Nope. He's watching that, and that will be a one-tap headshot. It's the Kazoo crew. 2KAZOO2KREWZOO2 coming out with the win here. Absolutely beautifully done. A 9-1 run to end that one.